What's happening?
Finally, you get your SecondsOut debut. How does
What's
it
happening?
feel?
Brilliant, man. It's been a long time coming. I just want to thank my mum, thank my dad. I'm joking.
Don't you have to thank Al Heyman?
Yeah,
Everyone
thank
thanks
Al
Al
Heyman.
Heyman.
You got to give thanks to God first. You know, they
Yeah,
always say
God and
God
Al
first.
Heyman, they're the two. You can worry about the family. How are you finding this whole lockdown business? Because you're usually in the gym every day with the boys, and now you're stuck.
Yeah, man. It's been tough. Do you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, you just get on with it. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of those things where you got to take the rough with the smooth, just like boxing. Sometimes we don't get what we want in the game, and sometimes it means we have to take time away from the sport. And it's made me sort of use this time to my best ability, so sort of studying, watching a lot of fights, working down combinations and stuff like that. So it's been good, and also a good time to spend with the family, because as busy as I am, I rarely get time to spend with my wife and my daughter. So just being home has given me that ability now and that privilege to be able to spend time with them. So yeah, it's been alright.
Who have you been watching? You said about studying fighters and combinations. Who's been on YouTube?
A lot of Canelo. My three favorite fighters, I always study: Floyd, Canelo, and Roy Jones Jr. Those, and I watch their fights back to back. I can tell you, a lot of the things that goes on in their fights. Just watching them. My favorite. I watched David Telesco and Roy Jones this morning. It was a good fight. Let's go Telesco. It was a good fight. Roy outpointed him. It's a good fight, but he's just watching Roy Jones using his skill set in that fight. It was just brilliant. It's good.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. How much are you in contact with Tony and with the boys while all this is going on?
Oh, we talk every day. We've got a little WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
the group chat.
I've heard about the group chat.
It goes down in the group chat, and everyone's sending their runs in. It's I went for a run this morning. Did some hill sprints up at Springfield Park this morning. Just using this time to try to get myself back in shape as well, because when you're training other people, you kind of neglect yourself. So I've just had this time to sort of do a bit more running, and the boys are putting all their runs in the group and talking about subjects. And Tony's constantly asking, "Oh, how you boys doing? How's your family?" And that, we're like a family in that gym. It's really crazy that we all care about each other. You know what I'm saying? And we all check in on each other and make sure everyone's okay. So it's a lot of love in the gym. It's good.
From what you've seen on the group chat, who's got the best kind of home facilities for training?
Now it's Martin J. Ward. He's got his own gym.
Say that, yeah. Home of champions.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Cordina. I might have to ask Wardy if I can come pay him a visit. Just hit the back. So I know a few of the boys are frustrated. Spider's definitely frustrated. He spoke to me yesterday saying, "Bro, I need to hit something." It's tough for them. I put a little tweet out yesterday saying that boxers need the gym for mental stability, and I think they do. Even for myself, I definitely miss the gym, but I've tried to replace it with other things. But sometimes you can understand boxers, they live for boxing. What else do they have other than boxing? What else do they have? So that mentality, that gym life is what keeps them going. It keeps them sane, and I think a lot of the boys, probably missing it. But I'd have to say, in terms of home facility, definitely Martin and Cordina. No one else really is. Everyone else is struggling. I think Connor and Nigel doing their DJing with plates and stuff like that. I don't know what they're up to. Sounds like it's going a bit weird down at the Ben household, right?
Any of them look like they're putting on too much timber? Have you had to have a word?
Nah, do you know what? No one's really put any photos of them like that, to be honest with you. I've been noticing Connor's been having a little bit too much sheesh. He's there. It seems like Connor's at sheesh nearly every other day. But all the boys are running. All the boys are running, staying fit. These boys don't really slack, to be honest with you. They're professionals. These guys, I've worked with a lot of different fighters from different gyms and over the years, and there's a reason these guys are at this gym, because it doesn't take a trainer to tell them go for your run. They know to go for their runs. You know what I'm saying? They won't allow themselves to get out of shape, when they're at camp. they're professionals. You know what I'm saying? And that's what allows them to be at that level and operate at that level and be in the gym like the Matchroom gym, because they're professional. You know.
Tell us a bit about how you ended up at the Matchroom Elite Gym out there in Little Worley, working alongside Tony with the boys.
Well,
What's the journey that led you to that?
well, at first I was just doing a bit of pads down at a gym in Leighton called Badar. I was just doing a few of my friends, and Mikey Saki, who's a close friend of mine, was getting ready to turn pro, and I was just helping him tick over and do some pads. And because he was close with Kevin Mitchell offered him to Peter SIMS, and Peter liked him, and Peter signed him. So when Peter signed him, Mikey showed Peter the pad work I'd been doing with him, and then from there Peter was like, "Oh yeah, tell him to come down," and I came down, and I worked with Peter for about 3 years down at his gym, and after a while the gym got a bit quiet. I think Peter had moved to Marbella at the time, and he was training a lot of the boys out there. So I was sort of left with not much to do because all the boys were out there, and I didn't want to go out to Marbella because my wife was pregnant at the time and stuff like that. And so I was doing nothing, and then Tony was like, "Oh, do you want to come over and help me out?" And then I said, "Yeah, sure." Peter said, "Yeah, go over and help Tony. You know, he needs the help. He's got more fighters over there." So I went over, started working with Tony, and we've been with Tony for over 1.5 years now, and it's been going great. Got a good relationship, you know, good mentor for me, because just as a trainer, it's great for me to sit down and watch. You know, I've spent years with Peter. It's now different dynamics, working with his brother Tony and working with different fighters, and just seeing it from a different point of view. I've just learned so much under Tony, and I'm waiting for my time now for when I'll be ready to just go out on my own, you know.
What's your own kind of background in boxing? So previous to the stuff you just told us.
Started boxing, amateur boxing, quite late actually. I started about 20. I boxed out of Leighton County, which was an amateur gym in Leighton. Still, I still visit there when I can and say hello to my old trainers, Finbar and Jeff, down there at Leighton County. Great guys. I don't know if you heard of Elba. Have you heard of Elba? The amateur gym? Right, so Elba used to be part of Leighton County, but they separated and went their own way. So that's where I originated from. And was boxing for there, had a few amateur bouts for them. And from there, I just sort of was helping them out with the training. And then I moved over to a gym in Chingford called Sparta. Just did a bit of white collar unlicensed boxing then. And then that was it really. I'd given up on boxing at that point, because I didn't really see a future in it. I didn't want to turn pro. I didn't have that ambition to do it. It was just more of I loved boxing, don't get me wrong. I was really good at it, and I just didn't have a desire to take it professionally at the time. But then taking a good 2-3 years away from it and then coming back just coaching, I fell in love with it again, you know, but from a different side of it, you know, as in the coaching aspect. So since then, I don't think I'll ever stop doing what I'm doing. I love this too much, man. I'll keep going, you know.
Is Leighton where you grew up?
Yeah, I'm from Leytonstone area originally. Whips Cross Hospital, born and raised. Leytonstone School, that's my area. So that's where I'm from, man.
And now working alongside Tony, obviously you said great mentor, very experienced. Yeah. How do you split the work between you when you're in the gym? Because there are so many lads there. Who does what, basically?
Well, Tony's the head man in charge. I mean, you always hear about coaches that help out the main trainers, and some trainers they sit back and let all their coaches do that. I don't know how other people do it, but Tony's definitely not one of those trainers. You know, he's one of those guys where he can do it all himself. He doesn't really need me, but you know, he's helping me out. So when we'll come in, say let's say a Monday, we'll take the sparring together. So I'll do their VAS and give them the water, and he gives them the instructions. And while he's giving the instructions, I'm listening, you know, just to, all right, so that's what you need to say, because I'm watching the sparring as well. and I'm taking it in and I'm thinking, what would I say to this fighter? And when Tony comes back, a lot of the times, whatever Tony's saying is what I'm thinking. So we're on a similar wavelength now. So while I'm vassing and doing their vass, giving them their waters, Tony will be giving them instructions. On the other days, sometimes we could have a lot of lads in for pads. So we could have Spider, Connor, Ted, Felix, Martin, all 5 of them coming in within the space of 2 hours. So Tony would take one, I'll take the other, or sometimes I'll take 2 of them, bag pad, and we mix it up, you know what I'm saying? So I'm basically just hands-on with the boys on the pads really when it gets too busy in there. And sometimes if it's not busy, you're at the you can go now. So and then I just slip off when it's not too busy in there, you know. So
something a lot of people won't know about is the financial aspect to it, because head trainers generally will get a set percentage of a fighter's paycheck. Assistant trainers, there is nothing really in place. So how does that, I'm not asking how much you earn, obviously, I'm not fighting, but just give us an idea of how that remuneration works and how you get by.
Well, you know, Tony breaks me off a bit of money, you know. I mean, looks after me, I have to say, and I appreciate all Tony does, you know, to help me out and stuff. But he gives me free reign of the gym that I can train private clients in there. So, you know, I can bring clients down and train them in the morning before the pros come in, and I advertise myself here. I charge £50 a session for pad session and for boxing training. And, you know, if I can get 2 of those in the morning before the start, that's a decent amount of money for me. So, you know, you got to utilize it. And, you know, I've been given and been blessed with a great platform to work with some great fighters. And if I didn't utilize that, I wouldn't be really smart. So I have to kind of just use what the platform I've been given to market myself properly. You know.
Have you had a fighter that you've worked with yet go on to win a world title? Because I'm thinking last one may have been Ricky Burns, who won his 3rd world title probably before you switched to Tony's gym.
Right,
so are you still awaiting your first world title?
Well, I can't. I give all credit to Tony anyway. I don't want to take no credit for nothing that goes on in that gym because they're not my fighters. I'm literally just helping out and learning my craft, and I do definitely have, you know, my part and speak to the boys and say to them, "Oh, look, try this, try that," and sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. It's just nice to have an extra pair of eyes. But in terms of that, in my eyes, John Ryder, he should have been a world champ, you know. And in my eyes, he's a world champ. All right, we don't have the belt, but I know he can do it, man. And to say that I had a part of working with John throughout his career at some point where he got there, I still think John has got a good chance of getting a world title. So, and I've worked with Ricky. I didn't get to work with Ricky while he was a world champion, unfortunately. I wasn't there at the time. But I'm pretty confident of all the boys in the gym. A large number of them will reach world title status. So, and I'll definitely be around with them on that journey when they get there, you know, just to say I was part of the team.
And before we let you go, what's the kind of ambitions for the rest of this year? Obviously, we don't know exactly when boxing's going to get back in the swing of things, but who are the guys you're picking out to kind of do big things before the end of the year?
Before the end of the year, it's a difficult one because obviously we don't know where boxing is going right now. And if it hadn't gone this way, I was expecting Felix to maybe get the European title, maybe move on. John Ryder, I was expecting to have a big fight this year and possibly have a world title shot as well. Spider with a British title, that can still come round in terms of opportunities. Conor Benn, British title shot. John Doherty, hopefully a title shot for John. And Cordina maybe next year, I don't know when, but soon, as another title for Cordina as well. You know, so all the boys are on the cuff of making something happen for themselves. So a lot of titles potentially coming around for the boys, you know. And hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have signed my first fighter as well, which I'm looking forward to. I can't say no names yet because nothing's set, but I got my eye on someone who I've been working with and I think they're a brilliant fighter. And if they do sign with me, it will be my first introduction to the game, and and I hope to cement my name in the history books from there.
And is this? I don't want the name, but I do want the name, but I know you're not going to tell me. Is this someone who's already a pro or someone who's still an amateur?
Nah, he's still an amateur, but he's been down the gym a few times. God willing, he signs with me. I ain't asked him yet.
Well, if he's watching this, he'll know who he is. So.
Exactly. If he's watching this, he's like, oh, is he talking about me? But at the end of the day, there's a couple of kids that I'm working with, and God willing, we go through this this journey together. And there's another 1 or 2 amateurs I'm looking at the moment. So my angle right now is just I'm not really interested in signing any pro fighters. I'm interested in working with amateurs and being that first step into the pro game with them. You know what I mean? And we've got the gym there, and Tony's given me his blessing to do that. And, it'd just be adding a few more names to the stable and hopefully get the name out there a bit more.
Great stuff. Well, I'm really glad we finally did this.
Yeah, man, it's been great.
Oh, actually, one more thing before I let you go.
Yeah, go for it.
People out there watch this, you're an engaging guy, they want to know more about you. How are they going to find you on social media?
Well, I won't give them my Twitter because I'm a bit of a menace on Twitter. I need to delete my Twitter.
Yeah, we've noticed. We've noticed.
I've got worse since the lockdown, mate. I tell you, I've got to delete my Twitter. But
I see your picture coming up a lot more often now.
I know, I need to stop. All the boys at the gym give me stick for it. They're like, oh, have you seen D on Twitter? He's a nightmare. I'm just bad. I need to stop. But on Instagram, you can get me at Boxer Don. And if you want to see some controversy, my Twitter is at Donnall Smith, DONNALL Smith.
Prepare to get turn your notifications off.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to see my picture moaning about the government and all this rubbish.
Good stuff.
Nice one, Daddy.